Alright, gentlemen, you are now live. Oh, y'all using the front camera, okay.
How do it look? How do it look? Do it look lighter? Did it look like the screen was lighter? Hold on. All right. Now then, come on. Let's pray in. Let's pray in. All minds clear? Deuteronomy, or Devarim, chapter 6 and verse 4. Hear, O Yisrael, Yahuwah our Elohim, Yahuwah is one. Shema Yisrael, Yahuwah Eloheinu, Yahuwah Echad. This is Exodus, or Shemot, chapter 20 and verse 3. We will have no other mighty ones against the Most High. We will not make any carved image or any likeness of that which is in Shamayim above, or which is in the earth beneath, or which is in the waters under the earth. We will not bow down to them, nor serve them. Yahuwah our El is a jealous El, visiting the wickedness of the fathers on the children, to the third and fourth generations of those that hate him, but showing kindness to thousands of those who love him and keep his commandments. We will not bring the name Yahuwah our El in vain, for Yahuwah will not leave us unpunished, who brings his name in vain. We will remember the Shabbat day, to keep it Kodesh. 6 days we will labor and do all our work. But the seventh day is the Shabbat of Yahuwah our El. For in 6 days Yahuwah made Shamayim and the earth and the sea and all that is in them, and rested the seventh day. Therefore Yahuwah barak the Shabbat day. We will respect our fathers and our mothers, so that our days are long upon the earth. We will not murder. We will not commit adultery. We will not steal. We will not bear false witness against our neighbor. We will not covet anything that is our neighbor's. Father Yah, we give thanks to you on this day for allowing us to come together on your set apart Shabbat. Father, we ask that your Ruach rain down in this place upon us, Father, that we may be able to receive your word with an open ear, an open heart, and an open mind. Father, we ask that if there's any ailments that we are dealing with inside of this room, Father, and anybody that's under the sound of my voice, Father, if there's any ailments that we're dealing with, Father, you know those ailments, Father. I ask that you please remove them at once. Anybody that's on their way here, Father, I ask that you get them here safely. And when we disperse from this place, I ask that you get us back to the place that we're going safely, Father. All these things we pray and give thanks. Bashem, Yahuwah, Wabenkah, Yahushua, HaMashiach, Ruach HaKodesh. So be it. So be it. Again, everybody mute your phones.
Shalom, shalom, shalom.
Shalom.
How's everybody doing this week? Good, all right. All right, my last time up, I done a lesson called The Marriage Philadelphia, right? Well, this one right here is going to be called The Marriage Choose. Got me? The Marriage Choose. Right? So, just like last time, we have two husbands, and we have a whore, and we have a bride. Okay? One loves law, order, responsibilities, rules, and regulations. The other one says, do as you will. Just don't listen to him. Follow me so far? And then we have the two women. One is a bride, one is a whore. But as we discovered last time, they look alike. Right?
Yep.
Now, let's get Genesis chapter 24, verse 65. So we can see that the bride and that the whore look alike or look similar. Genesis chapter 24, verse 65.
Genesis chapter 24 at verse 65. For she had said unto the servant, what man is this that walk in the field to meet us? And the servant had said, it is my master. Therefore she took a veil and covered herself.
She did what?
She took a veil and covered herself.
So she took a veil and she covered herself. Anybody know who this woman that just covered herself is? This is Rebecca. Right? So she took a veil and she covered herself. Keep that in mind. Genesis 38 and 14.
Genesis chapter 30.
What do the brides do in y'all understanding? They do what? They veil themselves, right? Genesis 38, verse 14.
Genesis chapter 38 at verse 14. And she put her widow's garment off from her and covered herself.
She did what?
Put her widow's garment off from her and covered herself.
Just like the other one did, right? Covered herself. Go ahead.
With a veil.
With the what?
With a veil.
With the veil. So we know that this woman right here is Tamar, and she played what? Harlot, right? All right. Give me Hosea chapter 2, verse 16. Hosea chapter 2, verse 16.
Hosea chapter 2 at verse 16. And in that day, says Yahuwah, you will say to me, Ish, and you will never again, hold on. And it shall be at that day, saith Yahuwah, that you shall call me Ish.
You shall call me who?
Ish.
Go ahead.
And shall call me no more Baali.
All right. Now, look up that word Ishi. What does it mean?
Man, male. husband.
Husband. Right? But he said, you're no longer going to call me Baalim. Look that up.
Baalim. It says a deity or my Lord, Master, Baali.
And it comes from something else, right?
Let's see, yep. It comes from Baal.
Comes from Baal. So keep that in mind that this comes from Baal. What he say in this day, you're going to call me Ish. You're going to call me husbands. So we're going to find out why Mashiach is so angry when he comes back. Can anybody think of a reason why he's going to be so angry that he's going to melt people when he get back?
One thing is because of the idolatry that Israel has put on.
Mm-hmm.
And because of the whoredom and the things of that nature that Israel put on while they were in the land.
Okay, that's good. So we're going to find out specifically why he's so angry when he gets back. So I'm going to try to put this on a human scale so you can fully feel why he's going to be so angry when he get back. Let's get me Genesis chapter 2, verse 16.
This is too long.
Genesis chapter 2 and verse 16.
Genesis chapter 2 and verse 16. And Yahuwah Elohim commanded the man, saying, of every tree of the garden you may freely eat, but of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil you shall not eat of it.
You shall what?
You shall not eat of it.
This is a commandment, right? Not a suggestion, right? Go ahead.
For in the day you eat thereof, you shall surely die.
For in the day that you eat thereof, you shall surely die. A commandment told not to do something, right? Get me Genesis 3 and 6.
Genesis chapter 3 at verse 6. And when the woman saw that the tree was good for food, and that it was pleasant to the eyes, and a tree to be desired to make one wise, she took of the fruit thereof and did eat.
She did what?
She took of the fruit thereof and did eat.
She just was disobedient, right? So when you're disobedient, what are you doing? She listened to somebody over her husband. Right? Romans 6 and 16. Romans chapter 6 and verse 16.
Romans chapter 6 at verse 16. Know you not that to whom you yield yourselves servants to obey, his servants you are to whom you obey.
So to whoever you obey, that's who you the servant of, right? Who did they obey? So they chose him to be their what? Their husband. Remember, it's two husbands, right? And there's a whore and there's a bride. So right here, they were showing that they chose this other person to be over them, to be their husband. Read that from the top again.
Romans 6 and 16. Know you not that to whom you yield yourselves servants to obey, his servants you are to whom you obey.
So the servants you are to whom you obey. Right? So, again, a human scale with this thing, right? That's like Faith and Biggie, right? She go with Jay-Z, with Tupac, and say, I'm trying to smooth it off for you. You know what I'm saying? I'm over here with you. And then you make a song with him, say, well, you chose this husband over me. How you think Biggie feel when he hear that song out? Right? How you think he feel when he see this? Wow, you went with my nemesis, with my arch enemy. Exactly. You went with the guy that we got a public beef with. Everybody in the world know about this. And you chose him and you went over there. Even though you try to disguise it. Well, I'm trying to smooth it out and make it all right. No, don't do that. Right? So think of it on that level. Deuteronomy chapter 30 and verse 15.
Deuteronomy chapter 30 at verse 15. See, I have set before you this day life and good.
Life and what?
Life and good.
We set before you this day life and good. Remember, it's a choice. Nobody can force you to do it. It's up to you. I set before you life and good. Read.
And death and evil.
Death and evil. Seemed like a real easy choice to make, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if it was really easy, why does he keep saying only a remnant gonna make it? Seems like it's just the easiest thing in the world, right? I'm gonna set it before you and tell you, life and good or death and evil, choose. Now everybody would come up and say, of course I'm gonna choose life and death. Everybody will say that though, right? But the book shows something else, right? Why? Why would we choose the evil and die? Why? Don't make no sense. Right. Mm-hmm. Read that again.
See, I have set before you this day life and good, and death and evil. And that I command you this day.
I what?
I command you this day.
I suggest it.
I command you this day.
I command you this day. He says, through thy precepts, we get understanding. What is a precept?
A command.
It is a commandment. So through my laws or my commandments, I get understanding. Read.
And that I command you this day to love Yahuwah your Elohim.
To do what?
To love Yahuwah your Elohim.
Because he is what to you? Your what? Your husband, right? He said, I command you to do what?
To love Yahuwah your Elohim.
Go ahead.
To walk in his ways and to keep his commandments.
To keep his commandments. Read.
And his statutes and his judgments, that you may live and multiply. That you may live and multiply.
That you may live. So your husband is commanding you something. To do something. Not hard. Commanding this to you. Not suggesting it. He knows what's best for you. Right? Go ahead.
And Yahuwah your Elohim shall increase you in the land, whether you go to possess it. But if your heart turn away, so that you will not hear, but shall be drawn away and worship other gods.
To do what?
And worship other gods.
Oh, you gonna go after somebody else other than me. He said he what to you now? He's what to us?
Your husband.
A husband, right? Go ahead.
And worship other gods and serve them.
And do what?
And serve them.
And serve them. Go ahead.
I denounce unto you this day that you shall surely perish.
That you shall what?
Surely perish.
You shall surely perish. Is this like parables language or anything? Or is it straightforward? straightforward, right? Like the law always is. Read.
And that you shall not prolong your days upon the land, whether you pass over Jordan to go to possess it. I call Shamaim and Eretz to record this day against you, that I have set before you life and death, blessings and cursing. Therefore choose life.
Do what?
Choose life.
Choose life. We're going to find out everybody said we're going to choose life, but they was lying. And it's going to be the same thing at the end. People going to say that they choosing life, but they really choosing death. So now we're going to see some of his roles that he played with us. Get Isaiah 9 and 6. Isaiah chapter 9 and verse 6.
Isaiah chapter 9 and verse 6. For unto us a child is born, unto us a son is given, and the government shall be upon his shoulders, and his name shall be called Wonderful, Counselor, the Mighty Elohim, the Everlasting Father, the Prince of Peace.
So these right here is more of his roles with you. The Everlasting Father, the Prince of Peace. And we know this ain't talking about Yah himself, because he never came down as a child to be born. Right? So he plays the father role. So you'll likely hear a lot of women say that they want a man like what?
Their father.
Like their father, right? It comes from the script, even if you don't know it. Let's get Isaiah chapter 54 and verse 5. And the reason why this is somewhat in here is because when a father has a young daughter, right? He pick her up, throw her up in the sky, tell her how pretty she is all day, and kiss her on the cheeks and all of this stuff, and so that's affection, right? So when she grow up, she still want the same thing. I want you to tell me that I'm pretty like my daddy used to do. You know what I'm saying? It's all this, nothing sick. Like somebody probably may be trying to think, but nothing on that level. Isaiah chapter 54, verse 5.
Isaiah chapter 54 at verse 5.
Hey, can y'all get them?
For your maker is your husband.
For your what?
Your maker is your husband.
He's what?
Your husband.
For your maker is your husband. Read on.
Yahuwah of hosts is his name.
Yahuwah of hosts is his name. So he says your husband is your maker. We also know that he's our brother. Right? Let's see what else he is. Hebrews chapter 7 verse 27. Seven and verse 27.
Hebrews chapter 7 at verse 27. Who need not daily, as those high priests, to offer up sacrifice, first for his own sins, and then for the people's. For this he did once, when he offered up himself. For the law make men high priests, which have infirmity, but the word of the oath, which was since the law, make the Son, who was consecrated forevermore.
So Mashiach is our what?
High priest.
He's our high priest as well. I'm going to these for specific reasons to show you something later on, to tie it all in. So, husband, father, brother, high priest, and a bunch of other things, right? Through his stripes we are
Healed.
healed. So a doctor, all these different things, right? Now, let's see something. Let's get Ezekiel chapter 16. Ezekiel chapter 16, we're going to pick it up at verse 3. Remember, 2 husbands, a wife, and a whore. Ezekiel chapter 16 and verse 3.
Ezekiel chapter 16 at verse 3. And say, thus saith Yahuwah Elohim unto Jerusalem, your birth and your nativity is of the land of Canaan. Your father was an Amorite, and your mother a Hittite. And as for your nativity, in the day that you were born, your navel was not cut, neither was you washed in water to supple you. You was not salted at all, nor swallowed at all. No, I pitied you to do any of these unto you, to have compassion on you. But you were cast out in the open field.
You were what?
Cast out in the open field.
So he's talking about Israel right here, right? He's comparing it to, we'll see, a woman. But he basically right here saying, you was a little dusty chick. You was nothing. You was in school as, we're going to keep it real on a natural level. How it was in school, right? When the little dark-skinned, skinny girl, nobody, quote-unquote, liked her, right? Because they wanted the thicker, light-skinned one, right? So he's saying, back at this time, you was this little girl. You was this one. And nobody looked at you like you was nothing. You was trash, right? Read on.
No, I pitied you to do any of these unto you, to have compassion upon you. But you was cast out in the open field, to the loathing of your person, in the day you was born.
So everybody looked at you and laughed at you. You was nothing, right? Read on.
And when I passed by you, and saw you polluted in your own blood, I said unto you, when you was in your blood, live.
I saw you and I said, she all right. I put a little work into her. She'll be all right. Go ahead.
Yeah, I said unto you, when you were in your blood, live. I have caused you to multiply as the bud of the field, and you have increased and waxen great. You are come to excellent ornaments. Your breasts are fashioned, and your hair is grown.
Your what?
And your hair is grown.
So you not the little nappy-haired girl no more. Your hair done grew out. I'm getting you straight. Right? I'm getting you straight. I'm going to make you look like something. Read.
Whereas you was naked and bare.
You was what?
Naked and bare.
You ain't had no good clothes. You ain't had the finest stuff that everybody else had. You was a bum. You was a 5411 girl. Them Reeboks. You gotta be in the hip hop world for that. You was this. You didn't have nothing. Your shoes was beat up. You was a bum. Read on.
Now when I passed by you and looked upon you, behold, your time was the time of love.
So I saw you, and I saw through all that stuff. I saw through your little nappy head. I saw through all of this stuff that nobody else liked about you. I saw through it. And I said, I like her. Nobody else don't like her, but I like her. Read on.
Now when I passed by you and looked upon you, behold, your time was the time of love. And I spread my skirt over you.
I did what?
Spread my skirt over you.
Say I spread my skirt over you. I'll put my coat down and let you walk over this puddle. While everybody else think you trash. Read on.
Yeah, I swear unto you, and I entered into a covenant with you.
He said I did what?
Entered into a covenant.
He said
you.
I entered into a covenant with you. What verse? That's verse 8?
That's verse 8.
Verse 8. So he says, I entered into a covenant with you. Let's see when he entered into the covenant with her. Hold what you got. We coming back. Get me Exodus 19 and verse 8.
Exodus.
Matter of fact, pick it up at verse 7.
Shemot, or Exodus chapter 19 at verse 7. And Moshe came and called for the elders of the people and laid before their faces all these words which Yahuwah commanded him. And all the people answered together and said, all that Yahuwah hath spoken, we will do.
We what?
We will do.
We will do. This is like saying, I do. Right here, right? So right here, he said, I entered into a covenant with you. This is when he entered into the covenant. And all the people said what? I do. I do. You was with it. Right? Let's jump over to the next page. Exodus chapter 20. Verse 3.
Exodus chapter 20 at verse 3. You shall have no other gods before me.
You shall have no other gods before me. If you obey somebody else, what have you just did?
Put another God before me.
You just took another husband. Right? Because that's what Adam and Eve did, right? Because whoever you obey, that becomes your master or your husband. Read on.
You shall not make unto you any graven image.
You shall what?
Not make unto you any graven image.
Go ahead.
Or any likeness of anything that is in Shamim above, or that is in the earth beneath, or that is in the waters under the earth. You shall not bow down to them, nor serve them.
Because if you bow down, it would be like doing what? Worshiping or submitting to somebody else. Right? Go ahead.
For Yahuwah your Elohim is a jealous El.
He what?
Is a jealous El.
Say that again.
For Yahuwah your Elohim is a jealous El.
He said he is a jealous El. When a man is jealous about his wife, what's the feeling? That's usually come after that feeling. We're going to see. Read on.
For Yahuwah your Elohim is a jealous El, visiting the wickedness of the fathers on the children to the third and fourth generations of those that hate him, and showing kindness unto thousands of those that love him and keep his commandments. Shall not take the name of Yahuwah our Elohim.
Don't take my name for nothing. So if your wife she take your last name and then she out in the world and she doing everything opposite of what you say, what would she be doing to your name? Dishonoring it, bringing it to nothing. Don't take my name in vain. Go ahead.
For Yahuwah will not leave us unpunished who takes his name in vain. Remember the Sabbath day to keep it Kodesh.
He says, remember the Shabbat day to keep it Kodesh. So every Shabbat, he work all week long, right? But on the Shabbat, I got a date with you. Every week is date. We have a date. So I worked all week. You know what I'm saying? And we couldn't see each other too much through the week. You know what I'm saying? Because I work all day, and then when I get home, I'm tired. But on Shabbat, that's our special day. We supposed to, you know what I'm saying? But what if you don't show up? You stand him up. How you think he feel? I show up and my wife ain't there. We're going to put it on a human scale so you can get it. Read on.
Keep it Kodesh. 6 days you shall labor and do all your work. But the 7th day is the Shabbat of Yahuwah your Elohim. In it you shall not do any work, you, nor your son, nor your daughter, nor your manservant, nor your maidservant, nor your cattle, nor your stranger that is within your gates. For in 6 days Yahuwah made Shamaim, and the earth, and the sea, and all that is in them, and rested the 7th day. Wherefore Yahuwah barak the Shabbat day.
So right here, again, this is the date day. You're supposed to meet up with him. Special day. But a lot of people, they taking it as nothing. But it's really deep. I'm waiting on you. I got a date with you. Because you my wife. And you don't show up. You go off and be with the other guy. How you think he feel? Let's go back. Ezekiel 16, verse 9.
You holding up? Ezekiel chapter 16 and verse 9. Then I washed you with water. Yeah, I thoroughly washed away your blood from you.
I washed you with water thoroughly, cleaned you up, gave you the finest clothes that everybody else want. Read on.
And I anointed you with oil. I clothed you also with broidered work, and shod you with badger skin. I girded you about with fine linen, and I covered you with silk. I decked you also with ornaments, and I put bracelets upon your hands.
All the stuff that you want. I gave you everything that you wanted. Read on.
And a chain on your neck. I put a jewel on your forehead, and earrings in your ear. A beautiful crown upon your head.
Sound like the finest stuff, right? This coming from Yah. Read.
You was decked out with gold and silver, and your raiment was fine linen and silk, embroidered work. You did eat of fine flour.
You ate the best. You ate Roof Chris every day. Read on.
And honey and oil, and you was exceeding beautiful.
Now you exceed. You not beautiful. You exceeds it. You are past beautiful because of me. I took you when nobody else didn't look at you and want nothing to do with you. Now you exceeding beautiful.
I don't think you're beautiful. I think you're beyond it.
Ain't this just like the world? The guy get her and build her up, make her something. All of a sudden she start feeling herself. We'll see. We don't.
And you did prosper into a kingdom.
You did what?
Prosper into a kingdom.
You prospered into a kingdom. Look at what the Most High done for his wife. Read on.
And your renown went forth among the heathen for your beauty.
So now you famous among the heathens. Now all of a sudden, since I done built you up and made you into this great kingdom, or my wife, all of a sudden the other guys are starting to look at you now. The ones that wouldn't give you the time of day beforehand. Wouldn't do nothing with you. Her ugly self. Looked at you like that with scorn. Didn't want nothing. I don't want her little nappy ass ugly self. All of a sudden, ain't this how it work for real? Read on.
And your renown went forth among the heathen for your beauty. For it was perfect through my comeliness.
It was perfect through my comeliness. Read on.
Which I had put upon you, saith Yahuwah Elohim. But you did trust in your own beauty.
Oh, now you feeling yourself. I don't need him. I don't need that nigga. I'm really beautiful on my own. Read on.
And played the harlot.
You did what?
And played the harlot.
Now you want to go and be with them dudes who wouldn't give you the time of day beforehand. Wow. Why would you do that? You know that they don't like you. You know that they only after you for what? One thing. But you still went and played the harlot with them. Read on.
And played the harlot because of your renown, and poured out your fornication on everyone that passed by.
She did what?
And poured out your fornications on everyone that passed by.
You went and gave it to everybody. All of them people that looked at you with scorn and contempt. You went and gave my love to everybody. He told you he was a what kind of elf?
Jealous.
He said, I'm a jealous one, right? You're doing it under so you can get it. So his woman that went out, that he done gave her everything, cleaned her up, took her when nobody else thought anything about her, gave her a nice car, nice house, the whole nine, and she turned around. All them other dudes who didn't ever think anything about her, and she done went and slept with all of them. Any man in here, how would you feel? There any words for you? You can even flip it around the woman, same thing. Because it happens in the reverse as well. So again, he gave her everything. Read verse, what verse was that?
But I was finishing up verse 15.
Read verse 15 again.
But you did trust in your own beauty, and played the harlot because of your renown, and poured out your fornication on everyone that passed by. His it was.
His it was. Go ahead.
And of your garments you did take, and decked your high places with diverse colors, and played the harlot thereupon. The like things shall not come, neither shall it be so. You have also taken your fair jewels of my gold.
He said,
and
what?
You have also taken your fair jewels of my gold.
Of what gold?
Of my gold.
My gold. Read.
And of my silver, which I gave you, and made to yourselves images of men.
So you done took my gold and my silver that I gave you for you, and you done went out and made you some images of other men. Wow. You took my stuff and you went and made images of other men. You on Instagram posting up with this dude. You booed up with him. You took my money and bought him a gold chain. My money. This is what you did. Read on. I think it was that verse.
And you have taken your fair jewels of my gold and of my silver, which I have given you, and made yourselves images of men, and did commit whoredom with them, and took your broidered garments and covered them. And you have set my oil and my incense before them.
You did what?
You set my oil and my incense before them.
You set my oil and my incense before them. So you worshiping them. You at their feet, worshiping before them. But he said they took the silver and the gold. Let's give me Jeremiah chapter 10. Let's see if this is talking about a Christmas tree. Or what this is really talking about. Jeremiah chapter 10, pick it up at verse 2, because he just told you. He says, verse 17 in Ezekiel, thou hast also taken my fair jewels of my gold and my silver, which I had given thee, and made to thyself images of men, and didst commit whoredom with them. So what did they do with the silver and the gold right here? committed whoredoms, and they made what? Images of men. Read.
Jeremiah chapter 10 and verse 2. Thus saith Yahuwah, learn not the way of the heathen.
Don't do what they do. Read.
And be not dismayed at the signs of Shamaim, for the heathen are dismayed at them. For the customs of the people are vain. For one cut a tree out of the forest, the work of the hands of the workmen with an axe. They deck it with silver and with gold.
They do what?
They deck it with silver and with gold.
So Ezekiel said that they took his silver and his gold and they made images of men. Read.
And they fasten it with nails and with hammers, that it move not.
So they say they fasten it with nails and with hammers so it don't move. Read.
They are upright as the palm tree.
So these things are standing up. Let's see if it's talking about a tree. Read on.
But speak not.
But it don't do what?
But speak not.
So they got an image of a man that don't speak. Read.
They must need be born, because they cannot go.
What does be born mean?
Carry.
To be carried. So the thing can't walk. Why would we think of a tree walking in this instance? Read that again.
They are upright as the palm tree, but speak not. They must needs be born, because they cannot go. Be not afraid of them, for they can do no evil. Neither also is it in them to do good.
So neither is it in them to do good. Right? So he said, don't be afraid of them. They got mouths and they can't speak. They got legs, but they can't walk. Don't be afraid of them. Right? Little statue or something. Through thy precepts, we get what?
Understanding.
Precepts is what?
Commandments.
Commandments, right? Law. Let's see what the law say about this. Deuteronomy chapter 7 and verse 25. Deuteronomy 7 and verse 25.
Let's go back to the law. No. Deuteronomy chapter 7 at verse 25. The graven images of their gods shall you burn with fire.
He said the graven images shall you burn with fire of their gods. Read.
You shall not desire the silver or gold that is on them.
Wow. Right there, these images got silver and gold on them. I hate to burst your bubble. This ain't talking about a tree. Read it again.
The graven images of their gods shall you burn with fire. You shall not desire the silver or gold that is on them.
You shall not desire the silver and the gold that is on them. Give me Psalms 115, verse 4. Because it says that, be not afraid of them. They need to be born because they can't walk. Don't be afraid of them. So they got feet and they can't walk. None of these things. Psalms 115 and verse 4.
Psalms chapter 115 and verse 4. Their idols are silver and gold.
Their what?
Their idols are silver and gold.
Go ahead.
The work of men's hands. They have mouths, but they speak not.
Didn't he tell us that in Jeremiah? He said they got mouths, but they speak not. Go ahead.
Eyes have they, but they see not.
They got eyes, but they can't see. Read.
They have ears, but they hear not.
They got ears, but they can't hear. Read.
Noses have they, but they smell not.
Go ahead.
They have hands, but they handle not. Feet have they, but they walk not. Neither speak they through their throat.
Go ahead.
They that make them are like unto them. They that make them are like unto them. So is every one that trusts in them.
So it's crystal clear. This is talking about statues or something that they was making to themselves, which the law commands us not to do. So you was doing all of these things. Deuteronomy chapter 9 and verse 7.
Deuteronomy chapter 9 and verse 7. Remember and forget not how you provoked Yahuwah your Elohim to wrath in the wilderness.
He said they did what?
Provoke Yahuwah your Elohim to wrath in the wilderness.
That means you're doing it on purpose. You're provoking this. I'm purposely doing what I'm doing. This is like she got the man in your house. His Tim's is next to the bed. He got a toothbrush at the house. He said, you provoked me to anger. Everything that you're doing it on purpose to make me mad. That nigga ain't gonna do nothing. He gonna just forgive me and take me back. Right? That's how it is in the real world. Read that again.
Remember and forget not how you provoked Yahuwah your Elohim to wrath in the wilderness.
So you provoked me to wrath in the wilderness. Deuteronomy 31 and 20.
Deuteronomy 31 and 20. For when I shall have brought them into the land which I swear unto their fathers, that flow with milk and honey, they shall have eaten and filled themselves, and waxen fat. Then will they turn unto other gods.
Then will they do what?
Turn unto other gods.
Then will you take another god or another husband, read,
and serve them, and provoke me, and break my covenant.
So he's saying, again, that you're doing it on purpose. It's not like a quote-unquote, like I made a mistake. This means
and my incense before them. My meat also I gave you, fine flour, oil, and honey, wherewith I fed you. You have even set it before them for a sweet savor. And thus it was, saith Yahuwah Elohim. Moreover, you have taken your sons and your daughters, whom you have borne to me, and you have sacrificed.
matter. Let's get okay, it's connected.
Alright, it says South Street.
It look like somebody on there. One moment. See if this thing working.
Who was that speaker? Say we back.
Okay. Yep. So let me get Jeremiah chapter 3 and verse 2. Jeremiah chapter 3, verse 2.
Jeremiah chapter 3 and verse 2. Lift up your eyes unto the high places, and see where you have not been lying with.
See, have you not been lying with? Read on.
In the ways have you sat for them, as the Arabian in the wilderness.
So they was committing adultery with who?
As the Arabian in the wilderness.
As the Arabian in the wilderness. Remember, it's 2 husbands, a wife, and a harlot. Right? So he let you know who you was committing your whoredoms with. The Arabians in the wilderness. Let's get me Nehemiah chapter 9. Says, your whoredom, is this a small matter? Nehemiah chapter 9. Nemo chapter 9, verse 16. I think that's what it is.
9 and 16.
Hold on one moment.
The day and our fathers dealt proudly, harden their necks.
Hold on one moment. Yeah, that's what I want. Go ahead.
Nehemiah chapter 9 and verse 16. But they and our fathers dealt proudly, and hardened their necks, and hearkened not to your commandments, and refused to obey.
They did what?
Refused to obey.
So they refused to obey. Remember, whoever you obey, that's who you serve. Read.
Neither were mindful of your wonders that you did among them, but hardened their necks, and in their rebellion appointed a captain to return to their bondage. But you are Elohim, ready to pardon, gracious and merciful, slow to anger, and of great kindness, and forsook them not. Yeah, when they had made them a molten calf and said, this is your Elohim that brought you up out of Egypt, and wrought great provocations, yet you in your manifold mercies forsook them not.
He did what?
Forsook them not.
So even though you went and played the harlot, I still love you. I still want you. Ain't that sound just like people right today, right?
Absolutely.
The man, he don't want what's good for him. He like the no good chick that's out here on Instagram doing everything. And the woman like the no good man that come in front of the house and blow the horn, jump out smoking weed, cursing, the whole nine. Just like the world, right? Go ahead.
Yeah, when they had made them a molten calf and said, this is the Elohim that brought you out of Egypt, and had wrought great provocations, yet you in your manifold mercies forsook them not in the wilderness. The pillar of the cloud departed not from them by day, to lead them in the way, neither the pillar of fire by night, to show them light, in the way wherein they should go. You gave also your good ruach to instruct them, and withheld not your manna from their mouth, and gave them water for their thirst. Yeah, 40 years did you sustain them in the wilderness, so that they lacked nothing.
He said, you was in the wilderness 40 years and you didn't lack nothing. Go ahead.
Their clothes waxed not old.
Your clothes didn't even get old while you was out there. You was fresh every day. Read on.
And their feet swelled not.
Your feet ain't even get tired and when you know how the old people say, ooh, my feet swelling up. I got to sit down. He said, your feet ain't swell up. I got you. Read on.
But you gave them kingdoms and nations, and did divide them in a corner, so they possessed the land of Sihon, and the land of the king of Heshbon, and the land of Og, king of Bashan. Their children also multiplied you. Their children also multiplied you as the stars of Shamaim, and brought them into the land concerning what you promised their fathers, that they should go in to possess it. So the children went in and possessed the land, and you subdued before them the inhabitants of the land, the Canaanites, and gave them into their hands with their kings and their people of the land, that they might do with them as they would.
Go ahead.
And they took strong cities in a fat land, and possessed houses full of all goods, wells digged, vineyards, olive yards, fruit trees in abundance.
Fruit trees, everything in abundance, everything that you desire. I gave it to you. I got it for you. Read.
So they did eat and were filled and became fat and delighted themselves in great goodness.
You became fat. You getting sloppy on me. Go ahead.
Nevertheless, they were disobedient.
They what?
They were disobedient.
After I gave you everything, sustained you for 40 years, you still turn around and obey somebody else? Read.
And rebelled against you and cast your law behind their back.
They did what?
Cast your law behind their back.
They turned their back on the law. Cast it behind their back. They didn't want nothing to do with the law. Read.
And slew your prophets, which testified against them to turn them
And
to
everybody
you.
that you sent to tell you, look, don't do that. He don't want you to do that. This what's going to happen. Get away from me. I don't want to hear that. Black Mike got a binge. He moving at work. I don't want to hear that stuff. Go ahead.
And wrought great provocations. Therefore you delivered them into the hand of their enemies, who vexed them. And in the time of their trouble, when they cried unto you.
So now he's showing you for who he is. First he was talking nice to you, buying you everything, buying you champagne, the whole nine. But now that he got you, he dogging you. Hey, get out of here. You ain't sitting with me. Think you gonna come in? No, you ain't coming in the VIP with me. A real girl here. Move. Treating you like you nothing. What are you doing?
And according to your manifold mercies, you gave them saviors.
You did what?
You gave them saviors.
I'm going to come and save you regardless. I love you that much. Even though I know you've been with all them dudes, I still love you. Wonder why these people going to get melted. Read on.
You gave them saviors who saved them out of the hands of their enemies. But after they had rest,
After I save you, what happened?
they did evil again.
You go right back and do it again. He can't live without me, girl. He'll take me back. All I got to do is read on.
Therefore, left you in the hand of their enemies, so that they had the dominion over them. Yet they returned and cried unto you.
Yeah, you back over there again. He beating you up again. He gave you another black eye. Now you calling me again. How many times you keep doing this? Read on.
You heard them from Shamaim, and many times did you deliver them according to your mercies, and testified against them, that you might bring them again unto your law. Yet they dealt proudly.
He did what?
Dealt proudly.
You go right back and keep doing it. Read on.
And listen not to your commandments, but sinned against your judgments. What if a man do? He shall live in them. And withdrew your the shoulder and hardened their neck, and would not hear. Yet many years did you forbear them, and testified against them by the Ruach in your prophets. Yet would they not give ear. Therefore gave you them into the land of the people of the lands. Into the hand of the people of the lands.
Gave them up. Go ahead.
Nevertheless, for your great mercy's sake, you did not utterly consume them, nor forsake them. For you are gracious and merciful Elohim.
Gracious and merciful Elohim. But people take what? Kindness for what? Weakness. He says, I'm long suffering. And you took it for a weakness. And you think you're going to keep doing it over and over and over and getting away with it, right? Jump down to verse 37.
Verse 37. And it yielded much increase unto the kings whom you have set over us because of our sins. Also, they have dominion over our bodies.
Over what?
Over our bodies.
Over our bodies. So that nigga you got over there is dogging you out. He won't let you leave out the house, treating you like nothing. Go ahead.
And over our cattle at their pleasure. And we are in great distress.
We are what?
In great distress.
We are in great distress. Judges chapter 2, verse 11. Yep. Judges chapter 2, verse 11.
Judges chapter 2 at verse 11. And the children of Israel did evil in the sight of Yahuwah.
They did what?
Did evil in the sight of Yahuwah.
They did evil in the sight of Yahuwah. Go ahead.
And served Baalim.
Served who?
Baalim.
That's that other guy. You over there with him again. After I caught you doing it again. Get me Judges chapter 3, verse 7.
Judges chapter 3 at verse 7. And the children of Israel did evil in the sight of Yahuwah, and forgot forgot Yahuwah their Elohim, and served Baalim.
You done went over there and completely forgot all about me, and served this other guy. Verse 12.
Verse 12. And the children of Israel did evil again in the sight of Yahuwah.
You just keep doing it. Go ahead.
And Yahuwah strengthened Eglon, the king of Moab, against Israel.
Judges chapter 4 and verse 1.
Judges 4 and 1. And the children of Israel again did evil in the sight of Yahuwah.
Go ahead.
When Ehud was dead, and Yahuwah sold them into the hand of Jabin, king of Canaan, that reigned in Hazor, the captain of whose host was Sisera, which dealt in Harosheth of the Gentiles.
Judges chapter 6 and 1.
Judges 6 and 1. And the children of Israel did evil in the sight of Yahuwah, and Yahuwah delivered them in the hand of Midian 7 years.
So right here, back to back to back to back to back. They keep doing evil. They keep choosing Baal over and over, right? They keep doing it. So finally he get to this point. Isaiah chapter 50 and verse 1. Isaiah chapter 50 and verse 1.
Isaiah chapter 50 at verse 1. Thus saith Yahuwah, where is the bill of your mother's divorcement?
I can't take it no more. You done did all this to me, so I got to do something now. Read that again.
Where is the bill of your mother's divorcement, whom I put away? Or which of my creditors is it to whom I have sold you? Behold, for your iniquities have you sold yourselves, and for your transgressions is your mother put away.
So finally, he at his end. I can't take it no more. I got to get rid of this woman. Jeremiah chapter 3 and 1.
Jeremiah chapter 3 at verse 1. They say, if a man put away his wife, and she go from him, and become another man's, shall he return unto her again? Shall not the land be greatly polluted?
He says, if she go and marry somebody else, shall not that land be greatly polluted? So is not that woman greatly polluted? Read on.
But you have played the harlot with many lovers.
But you did what?
Played the harlot with many lovers.
You played the harlot with many lovers. Read.
Yet return again to me, saith Yahuwah.
But you keep coming back to me. After he bash your head in, treat you like something that you don't want to be, over and over, you keep coming back to me. But you really still want him. So he referenced the law right here. Let's go to it. Deuteronomy chapter 24, verse 1. He said, they say, if a man put away his wife. Deuteronomy 24, verse 1.
Deuteronomy chapter 24, verse 1. When a man have taken a wife and married her, and it come to pass that she find no favor in his eyes, because he had found some uncleanness in her, then let him write her a bill of divorcement.
Let him do what?
Write her a bill of divorcement.
So, did he find some uncleanness in Israel?
Absolutely.
Go ahead.
And give it in her hand,
Go ahead.
and send her out of his house.
Do what?
And send her out of his house.
Send her out of his house. Go ahead.
And when she is departed out of his house, she may go and be another man's wife.
Go ahead.
And if the latter husband hate her, and write her a bill of divorcement, and give it in her hand, and send her out of his house, or if the latter husband die, which took her to be his wife, her former husband, which sent her away, may not take her again to be his wife. After that, she is defiled. For that is abomination before Yahuwah. And you shall not cause the land to sin, which Yahuwah your Elohim give you for an inheritance.
So he put away his wife, gave her a bill of divorcement, right? According to this law, her former husband cannot take her back, right? If she went off and married somebody else, right? Did Israel do that? So how is it that he can take her back? No. We'll see. Let's get John chapter 15 verse 13.
John chapter 15 and verse 13. Greater love hath no man than this, that a man lay down his life for his friends.
That he do what?
Lay down his life for his friends.
He laid down his life for his friend. Or better yet, he laid down his life for who?
His wife.
His wife. Adam died with his wife. He died for his wife.
Big difference.
Big difference. See that? Give me 1 John 3 and 16. So this man loved you so much that he died in order to be able to take you back. Even after you done did all these things to him, he died so he can actually take you back to himself.
15.
Yep. Yep.
1 John chapter 3 and verse 15. Whosoever hate his brother is a murderer. And you know that no murderer have eternal life abiding in him. Hereby perceive we the love of Elohim, because he laid down his life for us.
He did what?
Laid down his life for us.
He laid down his life for us. Read.
And we ought to lay down our lives for the brethren.
First Samuel 10 and 6. 1 Samuel chapter 10 verse 6.
1 Samuel chapter 10 and verse 6. And the Ruach of Yahuwah will come upon you, and you shall prophesy with them, and shall be turned into another man.
Shall be what?
Turned into another man.
So he was dead, right? And then what came on him?
The Ruach.
The Ruach came back to him. But right here, read that again.
You shall be turned into another man.
So you shall be turned into another man. Let's see. Let's get Luke 24. verse 13. This is after the resurrection. So you shall be turned into another man. Luke 24, verse 13. This is after the resurrection. Yep.
Luke chapter 24, verse 13. And behold, two of them went the same day to a village called Emmaus, which was from Jerusalem about 80 furlongs. And they talked together all these things which had happened. And it came to pass that while they communed together and reasoned, Mashiach himself drew near.
Who came?
Mashiach himself drew near.
Go ahead.
And went with them. But their eyes were holden that they should not know him.
They what?
Their eyes were holden that they should not know him.
This is him, but they don't recognize him. Because he what?
Another man.
As another man. Read.
And he said unto them, what manner of communications are these that you have one to another as you walk and are sad? And one of them, whose name was Cleopas, answering said unto him, are you the only stranger in Jerusalem?
What? You don't know what just popped off in the last 3 days? The guy that we... Go ahead, read.
And have not known the things which are come to pass in these days? And he said unto them, what things? And they said unto him, concerning Yahushua of Nazareth.
They talking to him and don't even know it. Read.
Which was a prophet, mighty in deed and word before Elohim and all the people.
He was the man. Oh my goodness, you should have seen some of the stuff he was doing. He was the guy. But you talking to him and don't even know it. Read.
And how the chief priests and the rulers delivered him to be condemned to death, and we crucified him. But we trusted that it had been he which should have redeemed Israel. And besides all this, today the 3rd day since these things were done.
Go ahead.
Yeah. And certain women also of our company made us astonished, which were early at the sepulchre. And when they found not his body, they came, saying that they had also seen a vision of Malachim, which said that he was alive. And a certain of them which were with us went to the sepulchre and found it even so, as the women had said. But him they saw not. Then he said unto them, O fool, and slow of heart to believe all that the prophets have spoken? Ought not Mashiach to have suffered these things and to enter into his esteem? And beginning at Moses, all the prophets he expounded unto them in all scriptures the things concerning himself.
So he had to stop him and show him, this me. I'm the guy. I told y'all I was going to get up in 3 days. But you didn't believe me.
Didn't you read the prophets?
Didn't you read the prophets? So now he done went through the book to show them all the places that's talking about him. Because they didn't get it at this moment. So we can see he coming back for his bride. But it's only a small amount. Everybody else is committing adultery. Everybody else is in full whoredom. This is the reason why he's going to be so mad. Because people are still committing whoredom on him. Even after he died. To take you back. Let's see. Exodus chapter 20 and verse 3.
Exodus or Shemot chapter 20 at verse 3. You shall have no other gods before me.
You shall what?
Have no other gods before me.
You shall have no other gods before me. Read.
You shall not make unto you any graven image.
Stop right there. Deuteronomy 9 and 7. He says, don't have another God before me or another husband before me.
Deuteronomy chapter 9 at verse 7. Remember and forget not how you provoked Yahuwah your Elohim to wrath in the wilderness from the day that you did depart out of the land of Egypt until you came unto this place. You have been rebellious against Yahuwah.
So you have broken the first one. Jeremiah 3 and 2, one more time.
Jeremiah chapter 3 at verse 2. Lift up your eyes unto the high places, and see where you have not been lying with. In the ways you have sat for them, as the Arabian in the wilderness. And you have polluted the land with your whoredom and with your wickedness.
So he let you know who you was committing whoredom with. Somebody out in the desert. Deuteronomy chapter 6 and verse 4. This is our creed. We read this every week. Read.
Hear, O Yisrael, Yahuwah our Elohim, Yahuwah is one.
We read this every week. Read on.
And you shall love Yahuwah with all your Elohim, with all your heart.
You're supposed to love him with all your heart. Read.
And with all your soul, and with all your might. And these words which I command you this day shall be in your heart.
They shall be where?
In your heart.
In your heart. But it's somebody else that's got their own creed. It's called the Shahada. And it says, there is no God but Allah, and Muhammad is his prophet. So when you say this, you automatically denounce, hear, O Israel,
Exactly.
Yahuwah our Elohim is one. When you do this, you automatically void the other one out. Because they was committing the whoredom. Where at?
Arabia.
In Arabia. It's a whore in the wilderness somewhere, right? So they have what they call the Shahada. And they have their own prophet. Who's the prophet of Buddhism? Buddha is the God. Who's the prophet? There is not one.
Exactly.
There is not one. Who's the prophet of Judaism? It ain't one. Who's the prophet of Islam?
Muhammad.
They have a prophet, right? So it's trying to show you something. Who you committing whoredoms with? What's the word that Muslims say that they do all the time? To Allah? They submit to him. Let's go. But in a minute, you're going to have to make the choice. You're going to have to choose. 1 Kings chapter 18, verse 18.
First Kings chapter 18 and verse 18. And he answered, I have not troubled Israel, but you and your father's house, and that you have forsaken the commandments of Yahuwah and have followed Baalim.
You did what?
Followed Baalim.
That's that same dude, right? Go ahead.
Now therefore sin, and gather to me all Israel unto Mount Carmel, and the prophets of Baal 450, and the prophets of the groves 400, which eat at Jezebel's table.
Read on.
So Ahab sent unto all the children of Israel, and gathered the prophets together unto Mount Carmel.
Verse what?
Verse 20.
Go ahead.
And Elijah came unto the people and said, how long halt you between two opinions?
How long y'all gonna dibble and dabble and try to walk the fence between Yah and this other guy? Your husband and this guy. How long y'all gonna play the game? Go ahead.
If Yahuwah be Elohim, follow him.
If Yah is your husband, follow him. Go ahead.
If Baal, then follow him.
If he your husband, follow him. It's going to be a choice made. Read.
And the people answered him not a word.
They didn't say nothing. They thought it was a trick like how y'all be doing. Go ahead.
Then said Elijah unto the people, I, even I only, remain a prophet of Yahuwah. But Baal's prophets are 450 men.
So this is bold, right? Somebody would say that Elijah is arrogant right here because he's by himself and it's 450 of them. But Elijah by himself, right? Read.
Let them give us 2 bullocks. Let them choose 1 bullock for themselves and cut it in pieces and lay it on wood. Put no fire under. And I'll dress the other bullock and lay it on wood and put no fire under. And call you on the name of your gods. And I will call on the name of Yahuwah. And the Elohim that answer by fire, let him be the Elohim.
Go ahead.
And all the people answered and said, it is well spoken.
It is well spoken.
Cool.
We'll go with that. So whichever one speak by fire, that's the one. Read.
And Elijah said unto the prophets of Baal, choose you a bullock for yourself. Dress it first, for you are many, and call on the name of your gods, but don't put no fire under. And they took the bullock which were given them, and they dressed it and called on the name of Baal.
They did what?
Called on the name of Baal.
They called on their God. They called on their husband. Read.
From morning even unto noon.
So from the morning until noon, they calling on their God. There's some other people that say they God name over and over and over and over again.
Long.
Read on.
And they took the bullock which was given them, and they dressed it, and called the name of Baal from morning even unto noon, saying, O Baal, hear us. But there was no voice.
Oh Baal, oh husband, listen to us. Read.
Nor any that answered. And they leaped upon the altar which was made. And it came to pass at noon that Elijah mocked them and said, cry loud.
He teasing them. Hey, what's going on? He ain't came down yet? Read.
Cry loud. Your God, ain't it? Either is he talking, or is he pursuing, or is he in a journey, or perhaps he's asleep.
Oh, your husband must be asleep. He been working all week.
You might have to go wake him up.
Go ahead.
And he must be waking. And they cried aloud and cut themselves.
They did what?
And cut themselves.
Pull a video up on YouTube and you'll see some radical people out in the desert that cuts themselves. Just like the scripture is talking about. Read on.
After their manner with knives and lancets, till the blood gushed out upon them. And it came to pass, when midday was past, and they prophesied unto the time of the offering of the evening sacrifice, that there was neither voice nor any to answer.
He still ain't answered. Even after you done cut yourself up, he don't hear you. Go.
Nor any to answer, nor any that regarded. And Elijah said unto all the people, come over here. And all the people came near unto him. And he repaired the altar of Yahuwah that was broken down. And Elijah took 12 stones according to the number of the tribes of the sons of Jacob.
Jump to verse 33.
Verse 33. And he put the wood in order and cut the bullock in pieces and laid them on the wood and said, fill 4 barrels with water.
Do what?
Fill 4 barrels with water.
So the God, that's the right one, it speaks by fire, right? So he says, fill these barrels with water. Read.
And pour it on the burnt sacrifice and on the wood. And he said, do it the second time.
Do it 2 times. Read.
And they did it the second time. And he said, do it a third time.
Do it 3 times. Fill it, drench it. Make sure this wood and this timber and these stones is drenched. Go ahead.
And he said, verse 36, and it came to pass at the time of the offering of the evening sacrifice that Elijah the prophet came near and said, Yahuwah, Elohim of Abraham, Isaac, and of Israel, let it be known this day that you are Elohim in Israel, and that I am your servant.
That I am what?
am your servant,
Muhammad is your servant.
and that I am your servant,
Go ahead.
and that I have done all these things at your word. Hear me, O Yahuwah. Hear me, that this people may know that you are Yahuwah Elohim,
Go ahead.
and that you have turned, and they have turned their heart back again. Then the fire of Yahuwah fell.
What happened?
The fire of Yahuwah fell
The fire of Yah fell down. Read.
and consumed the burnt sacrifice.
What happened?
Consumed the burnt sacrifice,
Read on.
and the wood and the stones and the dust, and licked up the water that was in the trench.
So this fire was so hot, it melted the stones. When you see a building burn, everything be burnt except for what? The
Destruction.
stones and the bricks and stuff, right? This so hot it melted the stones. Read on.
And when all the people saw it, they fell on their faces, and they said, Yahuwah, he is El.
So when this happened, the people believed in Yah, right? What's the reason that they believed in him? Because what happened? Because of what they saw. The only reason that they just chose Yah is because of something that they just saw happen. But before this, they was between two opinions. I don't know. Black Mike, he take me over here, but man, he picked me up when nobody didn't want me. Oh, I'm so torn. Right? I don't know what I want to do. Oh. But then when you saw the miracles take place, you switched. Oh, I'm going with him. But that's what's going to get you in trouble. That's what's going to get you in trouble. Let's see how. Matthew chapter 4, verse 23.
Matthew chapter 4 at verse 23. And Yahushua went about all Galilee, teaching in their synagogues, and preaching the gospel of the kingdom, and healing all manner of sickness.
Doing what?
Healing all manner of sickness.
Miracles. Go ahead.
And all manner of disease among the people. And his fame went throughout all Syria. And they brought unto him all sick people that were taken with diverse diseases and torments, and those which were possessed with devils, and those which were lunatic, and those that had the palsy, and he healed them.
He did what?
And he healed them.
And he healed them. Go ahead.
And there followed him great multitudes of people.
So because he was doing these miracles, great multitudes was following them. Oh, that got him, man. He the man. But let's see. John chapter 6, 48. John chapter 6 and verse 48. So as long as he was doing the miracles, everybody was loving him.
John chapter 6 and verse 48. I am that bread of life. Your fathers did eat manna in the wilderness and are dead. This is the bread which come down from Shamaim, that a man may eat thereof and not die. I am the living bread which came down from Shamaim.
So he let them know. He referencing back when they was eating manna. That was me. Right? Letting them know. He referencing them, giving them the reference point. Read.
If any man eat of this bread, he shall live forever.
How long?
Forever.
Go ahead.
And the bread that I will give is my flesh, which I will give for the life of the world.
He says, man shall not live by bread alone, but by what?
Every word
that proceeds out of Yah's mouth. Read.
The Yehudim therefore strove among themselves, saying, how can this man give us his flesh to eat? And Yahushua said unto them, truly, truly, I say unto you.
They don't even understand that he's talking about the Torah. He is the walking Torah. You got to eat this book because Ezekiel ate the scroll, right? Read on.
You eat the flesh of the Son of Man and drink his blood. Or except you eat the flesh of the Son of Man and drink his blood.
Because he actually had a cup of wine in his hand when he was making this statement at the quote-unquote Last Supper. Read.
You have no life in you. Whoso eat my flesh and drink my blood hath eternal life, and I will raise him up at the last day. For my flesh is meat indeed, and my blood is drink indeed. He that eat my flesh and drink my blood dwell in me, and I in him. As the living Father hath sent me, and I live by the Father, so he that eateth me, even he shall live by me.
What verse you at?
Is verse 58.
Go ahead.
This is that bread which came down from Shamaim, not as your fathers did eat manna, and are dead. He that eat of this bread shall live forever. These things said he in the synagogue, as he taught in Capernaum. Many therefore of his disciples, when they had heard this, said, This is a hard saying. Who can hear it? When Yahushua knew in himself that his disciples murmured at it, he said unto them, Do this offend you?
Does this offend you, what I'm saying? Even though I'm telling you what I'm talking about? Read.
What if you shall see the Son of Man ascend up where he was before? It is the Ruach that quicken. The flesh profit nothing. The words that I speak unto you, they are Ruach, and they are life. But there are some of you that believe not. For Yahushua knew from the beginning who they were that believed not, and who should betray him. And he said, Therefore said I unto you, that no man can come unto me, except it were given unto him of my Father.
So we know that it was multitudes following him the whole time he was doing miracles, right? Go ahead.
From that time, many of his disciples went back and walked no more with him.
So soon as he dropped that word on him, he ain't doing the miracles no more right now. When he was feeding us with the 5 fish and the bread, everybody was on board. And now when he dropped this truth on him, it says, many of his disciples went back and walked with him no more. Just a coincidence that this is John chapter 6 and verse 66 that this happened on. So now let's go. Matter of fact, let's go to 1 Corinthians 1:22.
First Corinthians chapter 1 and verse 22. For the Yehudim require a sign.
They do what?
Require a sign.
Go ahead.
And the Greeks seek after wisdom.
So he says that his people seek a sign. They got to see something, right? Again, the only reason why they chose Yah is because the fire fell down from Shamayim. It's the only reason they chose him, because they saw the miracle happen. Read that again.
For the Yehudim require a sign, and the Greeks seek after wisdom.
That's what we should be seeking after, wisdom. Exodus chapter 20 and verse 4.
Exodus chapter 20 at verse 4. You shall not make unto you any graven image.
You shall do what?
Not make unto you any graven image.
He says, you shall not make unto you any graven image. Get me Revelation 13 and 13.
Revelation chapter 13 at verse 13. And he doeth great wonders, so that he make fire come down from Shamayim on the earth.
He do what?
He do great wonders, so that he make fire come down from Shamayim on the earth.
What made us believe when Elijah was doing what he was doing?
Fire coming down.
The fire came down, right? But this guy, this husband gonna have the power to make fire come down. So just because we believe, when we saw that, guess what our people gonna do in the end?
Don't believe.
You gonna run after him because he made fire come down in the sight of men. Read on.
And he doeth great wonders, so that he make fire come down from Shamayim on the earth in the sight of men, and deceive them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles which he had.
What?
By the means of those miracles which he had power to do in the sight of the beast,
Go ahead.
saying to them that dwell on the earth, that they should make an image.
They should do what?
That they should make an image.
What does Exodus chapter 20 verse 4 say that we don't supposed to do?
Shall not make any graven image.
You shall not make any graven image or any likeness of anything which comes from Shamaim above, or that is in the earth beneath, or that is under the waters under the earth. Right? But right here, this guy telling you that you're going to have to make one. Read.
That they should make an image to the beast, which had the wound by a sword and did live.
So you're going to break these commandments, which he directly told us not to do. Exodus chapter 20 and verse 5.
Exodus 20 and 5. You shall not bow down yourself to them.
You shall what?
Not bow down yourself to them.
He says you shall not bow down yourself to them. Because again, bowing shows that you are submitting to somebody. Revelations chapter 13 verse 4.
Revelation 13 verse 4. And they worship the dragon.
They did what?
Worship the dragon.
They worship the dragon. So he told you, choose life, right? If you worship the dragon, you choosing what?
Death.
Death and evil, right? Read on.
And they worship the dragon, which gave power unto the beast. And they worship the beast, saying, who is like unto the beast? Who was able to make war with him?
So why do they say, who is like unto the beast? Who can make war with him? Why do they feel like that? Because what they saw, but this guy is going to kill the two witnesses. So since he killed the two witnesses, and we know the stuff that the two witnesses are actually doing, they think
They puffed up.
this guy right here is the dude. He took the two witnesses down. They was killing up everybody. They was doing all type of stuff. And this guy took them down. This is why they so bold with it. Go ahead.
And there was given unto him a mouth speaking great things and blasphemies, and power was given unto him to continue 42 months.
3.5 years. Jump down to verse 8.
Verse 8. And all that dwell upon the earth shall worship him.
So do what?
Shall worship him.
That's 3 worships right here in this thing so far that it says they worshiped him, worshiped him, worshiped him. Keep saying it for a reason. Read on.
Whose names are not written in the book of life of the Lamb, slain from the foundation of the world.
Jump down to verse 12.
Verse 12. And he that exercised all the power of the first beast before him, and caused the earth and them which dwell therein to worship the first beast.
To do what?
Worship the first beast.
There you go again. They keep repeating it for a reason. To worship the first beast. Jump down to verse 15.
Verse 15. And he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak and cause that which many would not worship the image of the beast.
Would not what?
Worship the image of the beast.
So he just said worship 5 times in this chapter so far. He getting at something. Now, Exodus 20 and 5. Read that one more time.
You shall not bow down to them.
You shall what?
You shall not bow down to them.
You shall not bow down to them. This word worship is G 4352. It means to kiss the hand, one token of reverence among Orientals, especially the Persians. Let me jump down to it. Strong's definition means from G4314, meaning to kiss like a dog, like licking a master's hand, to fawn or to crouch. That is, literally or figuratively, to prostrate oneself in homage. Now, who is the people, the God that requires the people to prostrate themselves? Islam is. This is the people that prostrate themselves. And they have a thing that's called the mark of prostration. Shell, you was in Egypt with us, right? What was on the foreheads of a lot of the Muslim people over there? They had a spot in their forehead. that they prayed and they put their face on that carpet so many times that it was a literal mark from doing this in their foreheads. So this directly means to prostrate oneself. Our commandment just told us, do not bow down to them. Right? Let's see. Exodus chapter 20 and verse 7.
Exodus chapter 20 at verse 7. You shall not take the name of Yahuwah your Elohim in vain.
Don't take the name in vain. We explained this a little bit earlier. Verse 8.
Remember the Shabbat day to keep it Kodesh.
Remember what day?
The Shabbat to keep it Kodesh.
To keep it Kodesh. Well, these people that do all of these things, they keep so-called Friday. Man was created on what day? The sixth day, right? Man was created on the sixth day. These people keep the sixth day of the week holy because he told you, for the sixth is the number of a man. So they don't keep the Shabbat. They also keep, quote unquote, Friday holy. If you do this, you won't show up for the date with Yah. And he's going to say, you stood me up again. And eventually I'm going to get you for standing me up on my holy day. Get me Exodus 20 and verse 5 one more time.
Exodus chapter 20 at verse 5. You shall not bow down yourself to them, nor serve them. For Yahuwah your Elohim is a jealous El.
He's what?
A jealous El.
This is why he told you that he was jealous. Just like a natural man is, he let you know, I am jealous. I don't want you choosing nobody over me. I gave you everything. I've been everything to you. I've given you my life. I laid my life down for you. And you still gonna try to choose somebody over me. Exactly. But you're gonna have to choose, just like with Elijah. You're gonna have to make this choice. Deuteronomy 32:16.
Deuteronomy chapter 32 at verse 16. They provoked him to jealousy with strange gods.
You did what?
Provoked him to jealousy with strange gods.
Provoked him to jealousy with strange gods. So now when his jealousy get to that point, Ezekiel 38:17.
Ezekiel chapter 38 at verse 17. Thus saith Yahuwah Elohim, are you he of whom I have spoken in old times by my servants the prophets of Israel, which prophesied in those days many years that I would bring you against them? And it shall come to pass at the same time when Gog shall come against the land of Israel, saith Yahuwah, that my fury.
That my what?
That my fury.
That my fury. Read.
Shall come up in my face.
You gonna see it in my face. I ain't hiding it no more. Read.
For in my jealousy.
In my what?
In my jealousy.
What happens?
And in the fire of my wrath have I spoken.
He let you know. He told you from the get-go, I'm a jealous El. Don't play me. And I took it from you over and over and over again. I'll let you get away with it. I'll let you slide. Matter of fact, I died so I can take you back. I ain't going to keep having it. Read that again.
For in my jealousy and in the fire of my wrath have I spoken. Surely in that day there shall be a great shaking in the land of Israel.
He says, surely in that day it's going to be a great shaking.
It's going down.
I'm through playing. You going to act right or else. Revelation chapter 12 and verse 17. Remember, it's a remnant of his wife that's being obedient.
Revelations chapter 12 and verse 17. And that dragon was wroth with the woman, and went to make war with the remnant of her seed, which keep the commandments of Elohim.
So he coming back to get everybody that's been committing adultery on him, that's been playing them. But his faithful wife, he coming back to save her, because she's a damsel in distress. I got to come back and save her, because the whole world is trying to kill my other wife that's faithful to me. But that one,
You can have her.
yeah, I'm going to get you. Numbers chapter 5, verse 12. He said that he was a jealous El, right? Well, he got a law of jealousy. Let's see about this law of jealousy.
Numbers chapter 5 and verse 12. Speak unto the children of Israel.
Because there's some people that's committing adultery that's playing games with him, and they think he don't know about it. They hiding out. But this is why he gave us the law of the spirit of jealousy. Read.
If any man's wife go aside and commit a trespass against him, and a man lie with her carnally, and it be hid from his eye, from the eyes of her
It
husband,
be what?
hid from the eyes of her husband,
Meaning her husband don't know about it. Read.
and be kept close, and she be defiled, and there be no witness against her.
Nobody didn't see it. We was at the room. Nobody didn't see it. We went way out the 40-mile road. Nobody didn't see it. Go ahead.
No witness against her, neither she be taken with the manner, and the ruach of jealousy come upon him.
What happens?
And the ruach of jealousy come upon him.
He start feeling something. Something ain't right. I
Can't put my
can't put my finger. But every time I come in, turn that phone upside down. Read on.
And the ruach of jealousy come upon him, and he be jealous of his wife, and she be defiled. Or if the ruach of jealousy come upon him, and he be jealous of his wife, and she be not defiled, then shall the man bring his wife unto the priest.
Do what?
Bring his wife unto the priest.
What's one of the other roles that Mashiach played?
High priest.
High priest, right? Read on.
And he shall bring her offering for her, the 10th part of an ephah of barley meal. He shall pour no oil upon it, nor put frankincense thereon, for it is an offering of jealousy,
Go ahead.
an offering of memorial, bringing iniquity to remembrance. And the priest shall bring her near, and set her before Yahuwah. And the priest shall take Kodesh water in an earthen vessel, and of the dust that is in the floor of the tabernacle, the priest shall take, and put it into the water. And the priest shall set the woman before Yahuwah, and uncover the woman's head.
Do what?
And uncover the woman's head,
Go ahead.
and put the offering of memorial in her hand, which is the jealousy offering. And the priest shall have in his hands the bitter water that caused the curse.
What kind of water?
Bitter water.
The bitter water that causes the curse. Read.
And the priest shall charge her by an oath, and say unto the woman, if no man have laid with you, and if you have not gone aside to uncleanness with any other instead of your husband, be you free from the bitter water that caused the curse.
You won't have to drink the bitter water. It won't do nothing to you. Read.
But if you gone aside to another instead of your husband, and if you be defiled, and some man have laid with you beside your husband, then the priest shall charge the woman with an oath of cursing.
What verse you at?
Is verse 21.
Go ahead.
And the priest shall say unto the woman, Yahuwah make you a curse and an oath among your people, when Yahuwah do make your thigh to rot.
Make what?
Your thigh to rot.
Go ahead.
And your belly to swell.
Go ahead.
And this water that caused the curse shall go into your bowels to make your belly to swell and your thigh to rot. And the woman shall say, so be it, so be it.
So the spirit of jealousy, he would get this water, this bitter water, take it to the priest, and she would have to drink it. And if she committed adultery or was with another man, it would basically make her thighs rot and her stomach swell up and all of these things. So, but she did this in secret. There wasn't no witnesses, right? Let's get Revelations chapter 8 and verse 11. Because people trying to play y'all like this right now. Sneaking doing it. It's like saying, basically, can we keep the Shabbat and I can go to church on Sunday? Is that cool? No. It's no play in the middle. Revelations 8 and 11.
Revelations 8 and 11. And the name of the star is called wormwood. And the third part of the waters became wormwood. And many men died of the waters because they were made bitter.
They were made what?
Bitter.
Bitter. So everybody that's trying to sneak and do the thing on the sneak, he gonna make the water bitter, and you gotta drink to live, right? Mm-hmm. And you gonna have to drink this water, and if you get found of adultery, what's gonna happen?
Your thighs gonna rot.
Thighs gonna rot. All these things, and you're gonna die. So Mashiach is our high priest, right? So he said he's the father of us as well, right? Leviticus 21 and 9. Leviticus chapter 21 and verse 9.
Leviticus chapter 21 and verse 9. And the daughter of any priest.
And who?
And the daughter of any priest.
The daughter of any priest, read.
And she profaned herself by playing the whore.
Playing what?
The whore.
Go ahead.
She profaned her father.
She do what?
Profane her father.
Because once you get married, your father give you away to him. Go ahead.
She shall be burnt with fire.
She shall be what?
Burnt with fire.
Babylon is what? The whore, right? How is it going to be destroyed?
Fire.
Burnt with fire. Read that again.
And the daughter of any priest, if she profane herself by playing the whore, she profane her father, she shall be burnt with fire.
So when you play the harlot, you're going to be burnt with fire. The water is going to give you away. Revelation chapter 17 and verse 16.
Revelation chapter 17 at verse 16. And the 10 horns which you saw upon the beast, these shall hate the whore, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh, and burn her with fire.
Do what?
Burn her with fire.
Burn her with fire. So is the natural whore with the spiritual one. So he told you, in the fire of my jealousy, I'm going to do this. Zechariah 14 and 12. Everybody think this is talking about a nuclear bomb. This is not a nuclear bomb. This is Yah himself. He is the bomb. Zechariah chapter 14 and verse 12.
Zechariah chapter 14 at verse 12. And this shall be the plague wherewith Yahuwah will smite all the people that have fought against Jerusalem. Their flesh shall consume away while they stand on their feet. Their eyes shall consume away in their holes, and their tongue shall consume away in their mouth.
This is him that's doing this. He is the consuming fire according to the law. So he's going to come back in a jealous rage and destroy his cheating wife, the dude that he been cheating with, and everybody that took part in it.
I'm killing you and him.
Exactly. So on a natural level, this is exactly how it is. He coming back in a jealous rage for his wife to save the one that's been righteous to him, and the other one, I'm killing you and him and everybody that you lied with. So with that, we say shalom. Anybody have any questions?
We got some on the chat.
Go ahead.
All right. Anybody got any questions in here before we move to the? What's up, little man? What is that?
He said Yahweh will protect him because he follows his laws.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Absolutely. Good question. The question was, will Yahuwah protect you if you follow his laws? Yes, indeed. All right, so we're going to hit these questions on the chat. First question I see. Can y'all address the use of a boar bristle brush?
Well, the boar bristle brush. Let's go to. Let's go to Leviticus 11. We're going to pick it up at verse 1, though.
Leviticus chapter 11. So, anybody confused about that question before we move on? No? Right. Okay. Leviticus chapter 11 and verse 1. It says, And Yahuwah spake unto Moses and to Aharon, saying unto them, Speak unto the children of Israel, saying, These are the beasts which you shall eat among all the beasts that are on the earth. Whatsoever part the hoof and is cloven-footed, and chew the cud among the beasts that you shall eat. Nevertheless, these shall you not eat of them that chew the cud, or of them that divide the hoof as the camel, because he chew not the cud, but divide not the hoof. But he chew the cud, but divide not the hoof. He is unclean to you.
Oh, yeah?
And the coney, because he chew the cud, but divide not the hoof. He is unclean to you. And the hare, because he chew the cud, but divide not the hoof. He is unclean to you. And the swine, though he divide the hoof, and be cloven-footed, yet he chew not the cud, he is unclean to you. Of their flesh shall you not eat.
Of whose flesh?
Of their flesh.
Meaning all of these animals that he just mentioned, not just the swine, but all of these animals. Read.
Of their flesh shall you not eat, and their carcass shall you not touch.
And their carcass shall you not touch. Now, can we eat badgers?
No.
No. But we see people with badger skin garments on. Badger skin was actually on the temple. Right?
Right.
So, the camel was one of the animals that was on that list that you shall not eat. Let's get Matthew chapter 3 and verse 4. Matter of fact, verse 3. Matthew 3 and 3.
Matthew chapter 3 at verse 3. For this is he that was spoken of by the prophet Isaiah, saying, The voice of one crying in the wilderness, Prepare you the way of Yahuwah, make his paths straight. And the same John had his raiment of camel's hair.
He had what?
Camel's hair.
Camel's hair. So John is rocking a camel skin outfit. And he ain't in sin. He got on camel's hair. And he not in sin. So it's about the dead body, the carcass of it, not the hair of it. So it's meaning don't touch the body of it after it's dead. So the hair might have been shaved off of it before it was dead. People was riding camels. The hair is nothing. So I hope that answered that question.
All right.
Go to the next.
Next question is, can you recommend a location of a gathering in Toronto, Canada?
Unfortunately, I don't know a congregation up there. I know a couple cats up there, but not a congregation. But if we find one, definitely try to send them your way, or send you to them.
Next question. So based on what you were saying about the worship part, as far as the people, it says, so is Shabbat from Friday sundown to Saturday sundown?
Read that one more time.
So is Shabbat from Friday sundown to Saturday sundown?
No, it's not. So we'll get a couple of scripts on it. Give me that Matthew where it says in the same day.
John 19.
Let's get John 19. First we gotta know what
John
the
20. John 20.
John 20. First we gotta know what the Shabbat is for. The Shabbat is for rest, right? So the Shabbat is for rest. Let's keep that in mind. Go ahead, read that first verse.
John chapter 20 at verse 1. The first day of the week, come Mary Magdalene, early when it was yet dark.
When it was what?
When it was yet dark.
When it was yet dark. So this is the first day of the week, early when it was yet dark. Go ahead.
Unto the sepulchre, and seeth the stone taken away from the sepulchre.
Go ahead.
Then she runneth and come to Simon Peter and to the other disciple whom Yahushua loved.
So we've been taught that the Shabbat, or that the day starts in the evening, right? So when it gets dark, again, it should be according to what we've been taught. Another day, right? Mm-hmm. Jump down to it.
We are dropping down to verse...
About verse 19, I believe.
I started verse 18. Mary Magdalene came and told the disciples that she had seen the Master, and that he had spoken these things unto her. Verse 19. Then the same day at evening.
At what?
At evening.
The same day at evening. Go ahead.
Being the first day of the week.
Being what?
The first day of the week.
I thought it's supposed to switch, but it don't switch. It's still the first day at evening. At evening. According to what we've been taught, it's supposed to switch right here. Go ahead.
Then the same day at evening, being the first day of the week, when the doors were shut, where the disciples were assembled for fear of the Yahudim, came Yahusha and stood in the midst and saith unto them, peace be unto you.
All right. Let's go to Genesis chapter 13.
Genesis chapter 13 and...
Hold on. No, we're gonna Genesis chapter 15. My bad. Genesis chapter 15, and we're gonna pick it up at verse 9.
Genesis chapter 15 at verse 9. And he said unto him, take me a heifer of 3 years old, and a she-goat of 3 years old, and a ram of 3 years old, and a turtle dove, and a young pigeon. And he took unto him all these, and divided them in the midst, and laid each piece one against another. But the birds divided them not. And when the fowls came down upon the carcasses, Abram drove them away. And when the sun was going down.
When what?
And when the sun was going down.
So when the sun, I want y'all to really, really hone into that. It says, and when the sun was going down, because we've been taught, when the sun goes down, the day switch, right? He says, and when the sun was going down, read.
A deep sleep fell upon Abram. And lo, a horror of great darkness fell upon him. And he said unto Abram, know of a surety that your seed shall be a stranger in the land that is not theirs, and shall serve them, and they shall afflict them 400 years. And also that nation whom they shall serve will I judge, and afterward they shall come out with a great substance. And you shall go to your father in peace. You shall be buried in a good old age. But in the fourth generations they shall come here again, for their iniquity of the Amorites is not yet full. And it came to pass that when the sun went down.
When the what?
When the sun went down.
According to what we was taught. The day switch right here, right? Right?
Uh-huh.
Read on.
And it was dark. Behold, a smoking furnace and a burning lamp that passed between those pieces in the same day.
In the next day.
In the same day.
In the same day. It just told us that it was dark. Because it told us in the verse before that it was getting dark. So what we was taught that it's supposed to switch. Right here is telling us directly in the same day, even though it's dark already, it's showing you. Read it again.
Verse 17. And it came to pass that when the sun went down and it was dark, behold, a smoking furnace and a burning lamp that passed between those pieces in the same day.
What day?
In the same day.
Not the next day.
In the same day.
Crystal clear.
Yahuwah made a covenant with Abram.
Just the next one.
Next question.
Hold on.
I have a question about in Exodus 16, verse 29. It says, on the Sabbath day, let no man go out of his place. So is that real? Like,
That was actually for a time when the manna and all of this stuff was happening. So I'll explain it to you in a minute.
Next question. All right. It says, will the Most High deal with my gang stalkers?
Read that one more time.
Will the Most High deal with my gang stalkers? Gang. G-A-N gang. G-A-N-G. Gang gang.
Somebody probably trying to get somebody to come back.
It's probably some people that's
Gang?
gang.
Oh, they're trying to get in the gang.
They say gang stalkers.
It sounds like what they probably trying to get out of the gang and they
Oh.
to get them to come back in.
With the gang stalkers. Let's see. If I'm reading what you're saying right, we'll go to Proverbs. I don't know if I fully understand this question, but let me see.
Can you elaborate on the question? C, can you elaborate on your question? Will the Most High deal with my gang stalkers?
If it's what I think it is, let's get Proverbs. If you was in a gang or you got out of the gang or something, I really don't know. I can't really fully understand it.
No group of people that live next to me, one is a cop that harassed me.
Oh, that gang.
Oh,
That gang.
one is a cop that harassed me.
Yeah, that's a big gang.
Absolutely. Let me get another script for that.
We got, after that, we got two more questions after that.
One moment.
So they digging a hole, a trap. They want me to move. Yeah. Shabbat shalom, Mac Rock.
Matthew 5 and verse 25.
Matthew chapter 5 at verse 25.
So if they trying to set you up, they more than likely, because this day land and this day, they more than likely gonna get you. So Matthew 5 and 25.
It reads, agree with your adversary quickly.
Do what?
Agree with your adversary quickly
Why?
while you are in the way with him. Lest at any time the adversary deliver you to the judge.
Do what?
Deliver you to the judge.
Ain't that what them cops do? So agree with them. Hey. Remember, they got power over us in this land right now.
Deliver you to the judge, and the judge deliver you to the officer, and you be cast in prison.
Cast in where?
In prison.
Cast into prison. So, yeah, get out of them people way.
I have the next question is, do we know of a congregation in or near State College? I think that's Pennsylvania. I don't think so.
I don't know of anybody, well, Sir Paul and them, but he be out on the road a lot. Try to hit me up later. I do know a couple people in Philly.
Next question. It says, wait, so the Sabbath is only Saturday, not Friday, sundown?
No, the Shabbat is about rest. We're supposed to work for 6 days, and we rest at night anyway. So let's get the script. Get that Psalms.
Psalms chapter 104 at verse 19.
Psalms 104 and verse 19. Go ahead.
He appointed the moon for seasons. The sun knoweth his going down. You make darkness, and it is night, wherein all the beasts of the forest do creep forth. The young lions roar after their prey and seek their meat from Elohim. The sun rise, they gather themselves together and lay down in their dens. Man goeth forth unto his work and to his labor until the evening.
Until when?
Until the evening.
So the Sabbath is a day of rest. In 6 days Yah created the heavens and the earth, and the seventh he rested. He was working during the day hours, the daytime hours. Read that again.
Verse 19, he appointed the moon for seasons. The sun knoweth its going down. You make darkness, and it is night, wherein all the beasts of the forest do creep forth. The young lions roar after their prey and seek their meat from Elohim. So this is their quote-unquote work at night, right?
In the day they be sleep.
Exactly.
Go ahead.
The sun rise, and they gather themselves together and lay down in their dens.
So now the lion, after he do his thing, he go lay down when the sun come up. Go ahead.
And man goeth forth to his work.
Man do what?
Goeth forth to his work.
When?
And to his labor until the evening.
Until when?
Until the evening.
Until the evening. So again, the Shabbat is to give you a day of rest from your work. According to this, we're supposed to be working in the day hours, not the night. John chapter 9, verse 3. So we know what the Shabbat is really about. It's about a day of rest and not working. Go ahead.
John chapter 9 at verse 3. And Yahusha answered, neither have this man sinned. You say 9 and 3?
Yep.
Neither have this man sinned nor his parents, but the works of Elohim should be made manifest in him.
But the works, go ahead.
I must work the work of him that sent me.
I must work the work of him that sent me. Read.
While it is day.
While it is what?
While it is day.
While it is day, because Shabbat means rest from work. He's telling you that I don't work at night. I work in the daytime. I created this thing in the daytime. Read that from the top again, verse 4.
I must work the work of him that sent me while it is day. The night come when no man can work.
So right here he's letting you know when work is supposed to be done. We rest at night anyway. We go to sleep at night anyway. Our body is already programmed to do this, to go to sleep when it gets dark. So
Let's see, we got it's almost at the end. It says we got 2 questions left. One is, I have been attempting to learn and understand the difference between the Gregorian and lunar solar calendars. The Sabbath and new moons fall on different days. Can you shed some light on those calendars?
Well, if you're talking about the Shabbat, then we know that the Shabbat, there's nowhere in Scripture does he tell us to observe the Shabbat according to the moon. But as far as that, we got a lesson on some of this stuff. My aunt Brandon usually handle this whole thing about them calendars and all of that. So if you watch it next week, when he back, ask that same question so we can address you about that, them calendars and all of that, the Gregorian and all that.
Check out that lesson called the Lunar Sabbath Nuked. It's a lot of that type of information in that lesson too.
Is that on YouTube or
Yeah.
it's called the what?
The Lunar Sabbath Nuked.
What's the last word?
N-U-K-E.
Yep. Last question, it says, are we to show love to the nations like we show love to our brethren?
Absolutely. If they come in and desire to follow Yah, absolutely. Let's get a script on that.
No doubt, Nemo.
Get me Exodus chapter 12.
Shemot chapter 12.
Verse 47.
At verse 47. All the congregation of Israel shall keep it. And when a stranger shall join with you, and will keep the Passover to Yahuwah, let all his males be circumcised, and let him come near and keep it. And he shall be as one that is born in the land.
He shall be what?
As one that is born in the land.
He shall be as one born in the land. Go ahead.
For no uncircumcised person shall eat thereof. Verse 49. One law shall be to him that is homeborn.
And what else?
And unto the stranger that sojourn among you.
So it's crystal clear that we're supposed to show them love. If they come in and desire to follow Yah, absolutely. So
I think that's it. Emo said pray for him and the fam. Alright. No more questions in here? One more question?
oh yeah. Ask that one more time, I forgot it.
Okay, Exodus. Shabbat. Say it in
Exodus
your
16.
home on the 7th day.
Okay.
It's Exodus 16 verse 29.
Alright. We're going to actually pick that one up at verse 21.
16, 20. Exodus, I mean, I'm in the wrong place.
I know some sisters that stopped coming to Shabbat in service.
I actually spoke to some sisters that, that came here that don't know more because of this.
Yeah. Because of what? The scripture, Exodus 16 verse 29.
We're going to pick it up at verse 21.
I'll read it.
Okay.
Exodus chapter 16 and verse 21. And they gathered it every morning, every man according to his eating. And when the sun waxed hot, it melted.
So every day, just even piggybacking off of that Shabbat thing we was talking about, the work that was done as far as gathering, all that was done in the daytime. The work, right? Keep going.
And it came to pass that on the sixth day they gathered twice as much bread, 2 omers, for one man. And all the rulers of the congregation came and told Moses.
So, two questions I'm gonna ask, because we're dealing with both, right? First question is, what was gathered every morning and what was gathered every evening while they were in the wilderness? Manna in the morning, and what was gathered in the evening? Who? Sticks? What was gathered? Manna was gathered in the morning for you to eat, right? What was gathered at evening for you to eat?
They don't know, man.
It was the quail. Quail, right? So every morning they went up until the sun waxed hot, gathered the manna, and every evening they went and got quail, right? So he says on the 6th day you got to grab twice as much manna, right? Why? Because the Shabbat was going to be when? The next day, right? Keep that in mind. The rest, right? He didn't say don't go out and grab the quail that evening. He said grab twice as much manna as you needed, right? Keep reading.
And he said unto them, this is that which Yahuwah have said. Tomorrow.
What is?
Tomorrow.
Tonight.
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow is the what?
The rest of the Kodesh Shabbat unto Yahuwah. Bake that which ye will bake today, and seed or boil that which ye will boil, and that which remaineth over, lay it up for you to be kept until the morning.
Okay.
And they laid it up till the morning, which is tomorrow. And Moses bade, and it did not stink, neither was there any worm therein. And Moses said, eat that today.
Eat that last night.
Today.
Eat that today, right?
For today is the Shabbat unto Yahuwah. Today ye shall not find it in the field.
This is point number 1. He said you're not going to find it in the field on the 7th day, right? No matter what, you ain't going to find it in the field, right? Keep reading.
6 days you shall gather it, but on the 7th day, which is the Shabbat, in it there shall be none. And it came to pass that there went out some of the people on the 7th day for to gather.
They was going out on the 7th day to do what?
To gather.
So it wasn't just that they were out on the 7th day, but the fact that they went out to go and do the same work that they've been doing every day, which was gathering the manna. Right? Go ahead.
And they found none.
Because he already told them it wasn't going to be none out there. Right? Read.
And Yahuwah said unto Moses, how long refuse you to keep my commandments?
So what was the commandment that they broke?
That 7th day they went in the morning.
To gather it, right? Not that they just went outside. Not that they just wasn't inside of their house. Right? He said, how long y'all refuse to keep my commandment? Right? Go ahead.
See, for that Yahuwah have given you the Sabbath, therefore he giveth you on the 6th day the bread of 2 days.
Right.
Abide ye every man in his place. Let no man go out of his place on the 7th day.
So what was Moses doing right here? He was giving it, hey man, the Most High gave you enough bread. Don't even come out your house on the 7th day. Right? This wasn't like a command that the Most High gave and said, hey, you had to do this. Moses was like, oh, how long y'all gonna break his commandments? And don't even come out your house. Right?
It's telling you to gather your food the days before the 7th, so that on the 7th you won't have to, because you'll already have your food.
Exactly. Now go to that joint in Numbers, the sin, was it Numbers 15?
What's the word?
So it still could be correct then. You shouldn't go out and
I'm about to show you.
No, you shouldn't go out to go get that bread. This is Moses speaking in this verse right here saying this.
I got you.
Don't go out.
The joint where he gathered the sticks.
Oh,
I got you.
that's Numbers 15,
Numbers 15.
about verse 35, somewhere up in there.
All right. Read that up.
Hold on.
Start at verse. Start at verse 30.
Numbers chapter 15 and verse 30.
Now, when they were going out to find the manna, were they going out to do it on mistake or on purpose? They was going out to gather or work to get that manna on purpose, right? Watch this. Go ahead.
Numbers chapter 15 and verse 30.
Now, if I'm in my house, do I know what's going on outside?
well, some of the people that I know who stopped going to the service on Saturdays, they cook all day Friday or Thursday so that they won't have to leave their house.
Right. But if I'm inside of my house, do I know what's going on outside of my house? Can I say, hey, such and such down on Greenfield doing this if I'm in my house all day?
Because you're supposed to be resting.
Okay. So let's see this. Numbers chapter
15 and verse 30. But the soul that ought presumptuously,
What's presumptuously mean? On purpose, right? Read.
whether he be born in the land or a stranger, the same reproacheth Yahuwah, and that soul shall be cut off from among his people, because he hath despised the word of Yahuwah.
So Yahuwah said, don't go gather the manna on the seventh day, right? But the people that went out, they despised this word because they went out to get it on anyway, right? Well, watch this. Go ahead.
And have broken his commandments, that soul shall utterly be cut off. His iniquity shall be upon him.
Go ahead.
And while the children of Israel were in the wilderness,
Uh-huh.
they found a man that gathered sticks upon the Sabbath day.
Let me ask you a question, sis. How could the children of Israel see a man gathering sticks if they all inside their house? So on the Sabbath day, right? If everybody's supposed to be inside of their own house,
So he's just referring to those particular people who were breaking the law.
he was talking about for us at a specific time because they were going out to break the law. He's like, man, don't even come out your house, right? So right here, we actually showing that while they were in the wilderness, right? This dude was out there gathering sticks on the Shabbat. If everybody was in their house, who gonna know he was out there gathering sticks?
Exactly. Verse 32 is clear. And while the children of Israel were in the wilderness, they found a man that gathered sticks upon the Sabbath day.
So technically, these people should be in trouble too, right? If it held true to what the people think that it's saying. Right? Now read on. Let's see what else they did.
And they that found him gathering sticks brought him unto Moses.
They did what?
They brought him unto Moses
They
and
weren't supposed to
Aaron.
be going nowhere. According to what our people think that it's saying. Right? But they actually took this man to Moses.
That mean they outside.
They should be in trouble, right?
You breaking it too.
Keep reading.
And unto all the congregation.
And unto what?
All the congregation.
So they not only brought him to Moses, but they brought him to who?
all the
To
congregation.
the rest of the congregation. All the congregation can't fit in one house. Right? Go ahead.
And they put him in wards, because it was not declared what should be done to him.
What do they mean to put him in ward?
Prison.
They locked him up. Everybody should be in trouble right now. The whole congregation being with Moses should be in trouble. The people that went out and found the man, they all should be in trouble. But because our people just take the stuff and try to run with it, this is what we talk about by being like over righteous, right? Remember we was talking about being over righteous? Because they see something, oh no, everybody wrong because they outside their house on the Shabbat. Look. But it come with understanding. You know what I'm saying? These is real people doing real stuff. So if it's an outlet in the room, right? In this room, and in the kids' room ain't no outlets. And every time they come in this room, they go and touch this plug. I say, don't touch that plug, right? I say, you know what? Go in your room. Why? To keep them away from doing what? Do that mean they can't go outside of their room, period? Or just don't come in here? If they go out of their room later on, but they don't come in this room, am I going to be mad? Am I going to say go in your room? No. I was doing that to prevent you from coming in here and messing with this plug. So when we see this over here and we look at this, that we seen the whole congregation of Israel was out here with Moses. Everybody chilling, parlaying. It's the Shabbat. We relaxing. We ain't working. We relaxing. It's not to say, oh man, if you leave out of your house, you know you sinning out.
Right. This is the Pharisee way of thinking, because Mashiach was walking through the field, going to different places, dropping the word on people, right? The Pharisees always was trying to get at him. Oh, you breaking the Shabbat because you out here. That's why they had what they call a Sabbath day's journey, meaning you could come out the house, right? So this is the Pharisee way of thinking, of taking the scripture out of context and running with it. And that actual law right there, Moses is actually speaking that. He basically telling you, don't even come out your house on this day because you already got enough bread the day beforehand. So that's not Yah talking in that verse, saying that. You got to read everything in context.
That's what we do as a people. Not we here, but as a people. We look at one verse. Oh, see, that's what it is. Hey, you got people that got a doctrine that you can rape people because of one verse that they take out of context. You can't tell them that ain't in there. My joint about to die.
I don't know when they never let me get on there.
It say who came up with the belief. It says, how is the seed of Satan and Abel the seed of man or Elohim? Did Eve sleep with Satan? Kind of confused.
No, sir. Let's go there.
Huh? I don't think so.
We're going to read it directly from the text.
Let's
and
get
see.
it.
We're going to go to Genesis. We're going to go to Genesis chapter 4.
Anybody got a charger?
Genesis chapter 4.
Genesis chapter 4 at verse 1. And Adam knew his wife.
He did what?
And Adam knew his wife.
So we know what it means when it says he knew his wife, right? Go ahead.
And Adam laid with his wife.
And Satan laid with his wife.
And Adam laid with his wife.
Go ahead.
And she conceived.
And she conceived. Who laid with her?
Adam.
Adam knew his wife, read.
And she conceived.
And she conceived, read.
And bare Cain.
And bare Cain. So it shows us directly who Cain's father is from the text. It's Adam. Read on.
But Cain, wait, my bad. And I have gotten a man from Yahuwah, and she again bare his brother Abel.
So it's clear that Satan don't have nothing to do with this. You become Satan's child or his wife when you obey him. That's how that happens. So if you follow Yah, you his son. But if you follow the devil, you his. Or the same thing with the wife. So whoever you obey, that becomes your master or wife. All right.
I don't think we see no more. Who came up with the belief that the Sabbath was from Friday sundown to Saturday sundown?
It goes way back to the Jewish people in Nehemiah. To our people, actually.
Our people that was in Nehemiah.
Yep. That started the whole thing. They was thinking they was doing a good thing, but this is why he says my law is perfect. Right? They thought that they could add to it and make it better. So just like Moses told them don't go out the house, period, they added to it and say, we gonna make sure that y'all don't break it. We gonna start it at Friday night and make sure we gonna shut everything down. But you actually add to what he already told you. My law is perfect. I don't need you to do nothing to it. Exactly like I said.
Those who gonna keep it, and the ones that's not, they're not.
Can't force nobody to do nothing.
All right, I think that's it. Yep. All right, y'all. That's it. Shalom, shalom, shalom.
Let's pray out.
All right, Shayla, you ready? Elder Martin, you gonna lead us in prayer? You gonna lead us in prayer? You gonna lead us in prayer today?
That boy got that Maccabee face.
You got us? Come on down. People on the screen can hear you. And he got a beautiful song that he gonna sing right after this.
She had a question. She did. I'll ask it afterwards.
Okay. All right, y'all.
Our Heavenly Father, we thank you for allowing us to be able to sit here together and be able to get that word, to get that truth in our mind and our body and our spirit. We ask you to let us utilize this to make ourselves closer to you. We ask you to let us utilize this to make ourselves become right with you.
Yes, Lord.
We ask you to let us utilize this so that we can become truly oneness with you. We ask you to deal with our families, deal with our children, deal with those who are walking the streets looking for some truth and can't find it. We ask you to help us to be able to step out there and do the things that are necessary to bring them to you.
Yes, Father.
And keep us on one accord with you. These prayers and all, we ask in the name of thy Son. So be it.
So be it. Abinu Shabbat Shemaim, Ikadosh, Shemka, Tabo, Melkuka, Yeaseh, Rasonka, Kares, Kashir, Naasha, Bashemaim, Tenglanu, Hayom, Likim, Hikanu, Usla, Lanu, Eight, Ashmatenu, Kashir, Sokim, Anaknu, Lashir, Ashmu, Lanu, Waal, Tabinu, Lede, Masa, Ki, In, Hasalanu, Min, Hara, Ki, Laka, Amam Laka, Wahagibora, Wahatifare, Lome, Ulami, so be it. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. Sis, I forgot you had a question, right?
Elder Martin, you ain't gonna walk away without giving us our song, man? I see you try to just kind of
touching my mama tablet. Why you touching my mama tablet?
Hold on, y'all. Hey.
Because I was seeing that in there, because at first I was confused about it. I was like locked in and everything. Until I got to that point, I was like, okay, it says it's a whole convocation. So that's a gathering. And he came to gather with everybody locked up to themselves. So that's why I was just looking at what she was saying, because I'd done it for almost the entire year. When I first came into the church, I could lock myself away on Shabbat. I didn't come out of it. I didn't have nothing to do with nobody. I just studied and just did myself and studied, and that was it. Until I got a little bit more understanding.
All praises to y'all.
All right, y'all. We about to go ahead and get this song going right quick.
Every praise is to
our Yah. Every word of worship in one accord. Every praise is to our Yah. Hallelujah. Every praise is to our Yah. Every word of worship in one accord. Every praise is to our Yah. Hallelujah. Every praise is to our Yah. Every word of worship in one accord. Every praise is to our Yah. Hallelujah. Every praise is to our Yah. Every word of worship in one accord. Every praise is to our Yah. Hallelujah. Yah Savior, Yah Healer, Yah Deliverer. Yes, He is. Yes, He is. Yah Savior, Yah Healer, Yah Deliverer. Yes, He is. 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 Hallelujah. Every praise is to our Yah. Every word of worship in one accord. Every praise is to our Yah. Hallelujah. All right, man. See y'all next Shabbat.